mine. Oh, I still died from those who live in death. But I got the dragon. Check that out, bro. Well, it's safe to say the Dragon Wound slash Ash of War does do quite some damage. Oh! Greetings, fellow slayers and newcomers alike. Today, we are creating the ultimate Dragon Hunter build in Elden Ring. This is actually a spin-off of my regular Paladin build, in which we are now a Samurai or Ronin that turn into Paladin, or some other way around. Who knows? Either way, we are a Dex Faith build, specifically designed to take on the DLC. So first, let's get into the attribute points. We have 50 Vigor, 13 Mind, 20 Endurance, 22 Strength just for some weapon requirements. I think I went 22 specifically for Great Stars. You could change this if you wanted to. 55 Dexterity, 9 Intelligence, 40 Faith, and 20 Arcane. Arcane is another stat where you can kind of mess around with it a little bit. So Strength and Arcane, you'll have 11 points from Arcane. I'm not sure how many from Strength to use if you don't go all the way up to 22 and 20 respectively. So you can kind of play around with those two, but mainly you want 55 Dex, 40 Faith at least, and 50 Vigor. And I like to have 20 Endurance. It's a little overkill, but I like being able to wear pretty much anything at any time with any setup. For my equipment first, of course, in the main hand, we have the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana. This is an absolute blast to play as. It's got a good move set. You stab, you slice, and then it's got the ultimate Ash of War for attacking dragons, literally. Well, boom! And it does hella damage, my man. And this is only +9, so. And then in the offhand, we have Leda's sword, which I have at a +10. The attacks are beautiful. And it works well with having a sword in your right hand because it's kind of like a jab, you know. You can flinch an enemy with this and then come up with a, you know, heavy attack from the big fucking Great Katana. Either way, I like it because it's like a 1-2. It's like a jab punch. If you had a quicker sword in your, or a quicker weapon in general in your right hand, it'd probably be better, but this is the combo that I like, and this is the combo that we are using for the official Ronin Paladin build. I've only gone up to Moog in the base game, so I really only have access to the God Slayer's seal. None of the other ones are really worth it besides the Claw Mark. If you're running a strength build, you might want to use the Claw Mark, but the incant scaling is not as good as the God Slayer's seal in general, so that is why we're using the God Slayer's seal. I was using this before I switched from strength to dex. It's 60 Faith on my strength faith build, my Paladin build, my actual Paladin build, which will probably be out after this video comes out. I think this video is actually going to come out before my regular Paladin video. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff, which is why I'm talking a little weird. Anyways, being a continuation of my regular Paladin build, I tried to keep it kind of the same. The old outfit for the regular Paladin was the Vagabond armor, and I think I had these on, and we had, what were they, Blide's Grease as well, and obviously the Great Helm for the Paladin. So for the Ronin, obviously you have to put on the Ronin armor, and then I put on Blide's Gauntlets, and then I put on Lionel's Greaves, which might be a little overkill, but it is what it is. And then I put on the Vagabond Knight Helm. So we're sitting at a pretty 53 poise, just a little above what we need at 51, so you don't get flinched and staggered by basic attacks. That's why we want 51 poise, in case you didn't know. Now you do. I'm gonna be honest, your talismans really don't matter at all. I have the Erdtree's Favor and the Great Jar's Arsenal just so I can have a big equip load. And then I have the Green Turtle Talisman, and specifically right now I have the Bolt Drake Talisman, which honestly I think this is kind of useless, so don't even use that. Don't even use that. But realistically, your talismans don't really matter. I honestly change out my talismans quite often. Obviously, you have your magic scorpion charms, your fires, your lightning, You got your Radagon Sword Seal and America's Sword Seal, which I don't have here, and then you got the heirlooms. You know, everything's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to talismans, and I also think they're kind of situational, as you could see by me having the lightning one right here, because I'm fighting big dragon guy in there currently. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the build, guys. You go in there, you buff with your Flask. Oh yeah, you want to know what's in the Flask of Wondrous Physique? We'll check it out right now. Boosting the strength and boosting the stamina recovery speed. Very simple stuff. That strength should actually be dex, because I respect for dex. In case you want to know what great rune I'm using, if I ever do use it, it's usually Radon's Great Rune, of course. Oh yeah, we could go to Incantations. We'll check out the Incantations. Incantations are another thing I kind of change around a lot. Honestly, I would use Blood Flame Blade if you're going to use a weapon that can be enchanted with this shit. Just keep that in mind if you don't want to use the weapons that I'm using. This build is designed to be able to use any of the Dex Faith weapons in the DLC. Let that be known. I should have said that at the beginning of the video, but like I said earlier, this is off the cuff. Being a dirty paladin, before the paladin went Ronin, or whatever, however you wanted to headcanon it, he was actually kind of, you know, dabbling in the dark side a little. He cast aside his purity to be able to purge his enemies, and so we have Godslayer incantations, and I just goofed it. But yeah, we have Godslayer incantations. I like having Noble Presence. Realistically, I just have Noble Presence kind of thematically, because really what I would actually use here is just the basic rejection. I would mainly be using this if I was getting crowded with like dogs or something, or like just pests, you know what I mean? Not the actual pest enemies, but just gnats. You know what I'm saying? But also, rejection is super good for PvP. If you can catch your enemy with this, you'll catch them off guard, and they'll be like, what the fuck? And then they'll think twice about getting close to you, which means you have more openings. But anyways, moving on, we have the Scouring Black Flame. This actually has decent range, so that's pretty good. The Black Flame itself, the basic one, I honestly never use this, so don't put too much merit into that. The Swarm of Flies is bonkers. It completely destroys people if you can get it to hit well. Blood Flame Talons, I haven't even play tested this one yet, but I'm pretty sure it's strong from what I remember playing a couple years back, or a year ago, whatever. Lightning Spear, we always gotta have this because Gwen. Lord's Heal, just for the biggest heal we got. Golden Vow for buffing. Blessing of the Erdtree for healing over time, and I just really like Dragon Bolt Blessing for when I'm fighting standard mobs, because whenever they hit you, they bounce off of you, and it's pretty fun. Just note that when you use Dragon Bolt Blessing, you are weak to lightning. That's pretty much going to do it for Incantations, I think. You know, Incantations are another thing that are situational. Like, some bosses do a lot of fire damage. Maybe you want to equip Flame Fortification and fucking do that. It's not really necessary, but if you want to put some points into intelligence and use a staff, the Impenetrable Thorns are absolutely ridiculous, dude. Oh my god, these are so powerful. This is the most powerful spell / incantation, whatever you want to call it, in the DLC, and I'll stand by that. And I haven't even used them all. This thing's ridiculous, so keep an eye out for that one. You know, you got your Crucible Tail and your Crucible Horns. I'm pretty sure everybody's tried those out by now. Let me not say that. There's definitely somebody who has not tried those out. Those do heavy poise damage and can basically stagger your enemy, so you get openings. The tail is a little bit slow, I think, from what I remember, but the horns is fast and it launches them up into the air and they fall on the ground. Those are really good if you're a Faith user. Hone Bolt is super good. You can repeatedly cast this, and if someone doesn't have the rhythm down, you can completely annihilate somebody in PvP with this. I think that really is all I have to say about Incantations. Just play around with them, any of the Faith ones, and find out what works best for you, honestly. I mean, what do you want me to say? And if you want to dip into like Earthbreaker Death Knight territory, you obviously have to use the Frenzy spells, but I'm not going to go into that. So I'll probably show some footage now of the actual build in combat, probably fighting this fucking dragon, fuck off dragon in here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for the next one. Leave a comment down below on what build you want to see next and how I can improve these videos. Thank you for watching, and until next time, purge evil.